the Littleton Selectboard meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a moment of silence, please. Thank you. First thing on the agenda, we have a public hearing for the transfer station fee schedule.
Okay, want me to
Yep,
go ahead?
you're up.
Okay.
501.
So it is 5:01. As the board knows, I think the general public has been aware, we started the conversation last year about this time when we were preparing the proposed 2025 budget. There was a lot of discussion with the budget committee and the select board and department heads on taking a look at our fee structure. And the select board had identified that as one of our goals for 2025. And unfortunately, we're kind of getting late in the year here as we are starting to jump on that task. We have had a workshop. I've worked with department heads. I have other fees that I'm working with other departments. But these two departments were the ones that I thought made sense that we try to address them first. The transfer station, and then you'll hear the fire department. So the select board has had a workshop session last week and have gone through these proposed changes. We've advertised this on our website, we posted around town, and by law, we were required to advertise the proposed changes in the newspaper. So many of you probably saw a very large advertisement, legal notice in the local paper. I'm not sure how we want to, if we want to just go through every one of these fee changes, or if we open it up for public comment. They've been published and posted, and what we've done is really try to identify what we think the cost should be for the disposal of these types of waste or recyclable materials. And with the goal being, of course, that the transfer station is a revolving fund. So in theory, I know that back, I think sometime in 2005, thereabouts, when this initiative pay bag system was started, the goal was always to have a fee that would help offset the cost of running your transfer recycling facility, but also have it aggressive enough to really make people voluntarily recycle, so they can reduce their actual costs in disposing their household waste and recyclables. So, well, I think the last time this fee schedule was looked at, we were trying to research this today. What we found was 2016 is when the bag prices went to, the small bags went to $20 and the large bags went to $30. And that's the last time I believe they were looked at. I think the greatest increase here that for a Littleton taxpayer is the fact that we are proposing that the trash bags fee increase. A small roll of 10, which is currently $20, is proposed to increase effective the first of the year at $30, and a large roll of 10 is currently $30, and it's being proposed to increase that to $40. The other items, again, are just really trying to capture
Yeah.
our cost of collecting, managing, and disposing of the material. For example, there's a big jump in mattresses throughout the country, or something that landfills and other facilities do not want to handle anymore. So we, currently right now, we're paying $35 to dispose of mattresses. And we're not proposing to mark it up any higher than that, really truly just trying to recover our costs. So we're really losing a little bit of our management handling fees, but obviously there's a lot of concern, I know, over mattresses being left alongside the roads and wherever you can throw them. But those are, I think, the greatest increases. This fee schedule does talk about having a permit, so that every resident in town could purchase a sticker for their car. It would cost you $5. That sticker would last for 2 years. And it's going to be a way that we can have our staff monitor the use of the transfer facility. We want to get away from having non-residents use the facility. And this is one of the ways that we are going to attempt to try to regulate the users of the facility.
Any of the board members have any questions? Anything?
I just want to mention that one of the things that for an increase is we're trucking this stuff a lot further than we were before, and that's a cost.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why the bag prices went up,
Yeah,
just to try to cover, not after making money. We just need to break even.
right.
I just wanted to add at the work session, Mike Chamberlain came in too, who's a transfer station director, so he was part of the conversation about, what kind of work is being done, how many people from out of town are coming in. Oh, is he here?
He is here.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I just want to say this wasn't done in a bubble without
Right.
hearing from the transfer station and some of the things that are happening. And there is just a lot of people from out of town that are using our transfer station because it's so wonderful. It's a great transfer station, which is great for them. The trash isn't on the street outside, but we need to encourage other towns to get theirs up to par, so everybody's not using our services and paying for our workers. There are some towns that I won't mention, but we are taking all their recycling, and recycling doesn't bring in much money anymore for a town. And it was to the upwards of multiple hours that the workers were sorting through other towns' recycling. And as taxpayers, we're paying those workers. So there was a lot of information that Mike brought to the table that made me want to support these changes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and all the fees are based on our cost, and simply that, and that's the basis of all this, and I think just open it up to if anybody's got comments.
Yeah, anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? You had your hand up first.
Hi, Vici Frazier. I live on Old Waterford Road, and for the access permit, you had mentioned that it would be monitored. One of my questions was, is that a permit per car, or?
What we're proposing is that it's a $5 fee per sticker. So if
Okay.
you have multiple cars and you want to buy 3 stickers,
Okay,
you can. You won't be able to buy 3 stickers at the facility. You're going to need to have the car that the sticker is going to go on at the facility. So we're going to sell you the sticker and watch you apply the sticker to the windshield of the car.
okay, so the transfer station is the one where we would pay the $5 and then they would have us with a sticker getting it in the windshield, okay, or monitor that. Now, are they going to monitor the usage of that sticker? I mean, are they administratively, I assume there's a number on it and,
It's going to,
Electronic scanner when you drive through.
yeah,
That would be me that on my check.
We're not gonna do that. But maybe one day.
Iris,
technology might be
eyeball
there.
scan.
I'll be honest with you, I've seen the sticker system in many different towns. I think this one's gonna start off pretty just informal, as a way that the staff can visually check. They're out there working at the transfer station, so
Well,
they're
Mike
gonna,
knows as well, so.
they're gonna be, just watching. We don't have a setup where we have a sort of a gatekeeper, I say, where
Okay.
you come in, you check in, you have your sticker, you would tell us what you're disposing of today, and we collect fees and tell you where to go. Our transfer station isn't set up like that. So it's probably gonna be pretty informal. We just wanna make sure, if we see a car in there that doesn't have a sticker, we're gonna ask them, show proof they're a resident.
Now, one of the things I was concerned about, when I moved from Campton, and they had a closed system where a sticker on the windshields and stuff. One thing I really loved about Littleton is that they had more of an open transfer station, so people wouldn't just throw trash on the side of the road, because it was easier than going into a transfer station and having to pay. So clearly, you guys used to be closed, then you opened up, and now you're kind of going back to the closed system. Are you concerned about having trash dumped on the sides of the road because of this change in your policy? And how are you gonna handle that if that does happen?
So for clarification, when you say an open versus closed facility, you're talking about a
People from other
facility
towns
that
and
doesn't,
other tourists, they
yeah,
come to the
non-residents,
transfer
residents,
station.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that was one of my concerns is, I understand all of the price hikes and the changes in that respect. But it was one thing, we pick up trash on the side of the road voluntarily, and we were just wondering if we're gonna have to do more of that in the future because of this new system.
It's something that has been discussed with staff and the select board, very much concerned that as we try to address the fees, start to regulate a little bit more, that one of the outcomes could be that we could see an increase in illegal dumping. We will monitor that, and we'll have to deal with it the best we can. Like,
Just one quick question, some of the folks live right on the border of Littleton, like Bethlehem or Lisbon or something, could they get a permit?
no,
Is it
no,
closer for
we're,
them to come to our train?
no, we're gonna work towards taking care of Littleton taxpayers.
There's a difference between a taxpayer and a citizen,
A resident.
Right.
because what you're just saying is, you got a lot of commercial people around here that are want to be able to take their trash to the local place too. And not just the residents of the town. You ought to have different colored stickers for different situations out there.
So say if you're a homeowner, resident in Littleton, have one color, and if you're a business owner in Littleton, have a different color?
Well, there's-
Yeah,
And
something
there's
like that.
contractors too.
Contractors, any of that stuff, you need to be able to adhere, you just don't do
Yeah.
one. And the people in the town, I mean, you got a lot of people with second homes, you know, when they have residents. So you really need to be changing the color of it and monitoring what you're getting out of the thing, out of who's gonna be getting these things. And if you find that somebody's buying stickers and giving them to somebody else out of the thing, on if the cops.
They're not gonna be able to, when they buy a sticker at the transfer station, it's going to be stuck to their windshield at the transfer
You didn't
station.
ask, that's not my question. My answer is that somebody else buys the stickers, whether they put it on there or not, they get a hold of them and they put it on there. You've got to be able to have the police be enforceable on that type of a situation.
No, it
No.
won't be that.
No,
Okay?
More chill than that.
okay. I still have two gentlemen in the back row that want, yeah. Did you have a question?
I do, Michael Nocky, Old North Road. I'm hoping this is just maybe a typographic error, but under C and D debris miscellaneous items,
Yep.
current price is 15 cents a pound.
Mm-hmm.
Proposed new price is $10 a pound.
$1 a pound.
Mine, this says $10 a pound.
Good catch.
Seems a little high.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Sorry.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that up this evening, actually during the public hearing.
I have
that
$1.
this was brought to our attention, and we really don't use the scales for this type of material, so at the recommendation of the transfer station manager, Mike requested that we consider removing a cost per pound and leaving it at the $60 per cubic yard.
You okay with that, Mike?
Yeah, actually, well, if I can follow up on that,
Okay.
from my own experience, I've seen that some people will bring cinder blocks, for example, that are used but still okay, and they've dropped them off there. And then somebody else comes along, who shall remain nameless, and picks them up and brings them home. I think that's a good thing, and not charging the initial person to drop them off is a good thing also. So yes, I agree with what you just said. If you're considering getting rid of the per pound thing completely, I think that's great. It seems like if it's per cubic yard, that's what really needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other item that I wanted to bring up, so we may as well get it on the table, is when we talk about tire rim fee, we are proposing that we go from $1 to $5. And Mike has gone back and he's researched it again, and we're being charged $1 for anything with a rim on it. So originally we thought we were being charged $5, but really being charged $1. So we would recommend that we change that $5 to $1.
To leave it as $1.
No change
No change, okay.
For the rim.
for the rim.
Plus the tire would be,
If the tires,
Tires.
if the tire's attached, if the rim has a tire on it. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys don't have to separate them.
No.
No.
Okay. So we'll just switch that back to $1. Okay. And we're crossing off the $1 for the miscellaneous items in the C and D debris, so it'll be just $60 per cubic yard. Okay. All right, and then one more question in the back row. Hang on a second, please.
Chip Steer. Is there any thought process behind the bag fees as far as like the volume of the bags versus the like percentage of increase? It seems a little arbitrary just adding $10 to each because the volume of each is significantly different.
Oh, you mean that each one made a $10 jump versus
Yeah.
a smaller jump? I think, I mean, Troy can speak to this, but I think it was looked at what other towns around us were charging to keep us pretty, it's not like we're higher than everyone else, we're trying to keep it somewhat equal. Is that correct, Troy, when you looked?
I know
at
Mike
towns?
had checked some of the
Oh, yeah, maybe it was
surrounding
Mike.
towns, and so that was the case. And then I think it was simply, as well as just saying, well, we'll charge an extra $10 for the small and extra 10 for the large.
Okay, I would suggest maybe figuring out, in the same way that you're trying to cover costs for other things that you know how much they cost, $35 for a mattress, you might want to figure out how much volume is in a roll of 10 small bags versus a roll of 10 large bags. Probably not a hard calculation, and making that make some sort of sense. My other question is, if we're like, my understanding is that we opened the system up because we could make money off the recycling. If we're not making money off the recycling, why are we still doing it?
Well, there's some recyclables. Mike sells this stuff every day, so I'll let him answer. But from the reports I receive is that, steel is still a good commodity, so our aluminum cans,
Metals.
anything that's metal. But some of the items, we pay to actually dispose of them, but that disposal cost is less than the tipping fee that the landfills charge. So it's probably more of a cost deference.
Are they being trucked to the same place?
What's that?
Are recyclables being trucked to the same place?
I had Mike answer that. He has several different outlets that he uses.
So all our paper and cardboard go to a paper mill in St. Elmo's, Vermont. The aluminum cans, they sell them to somebody else eventually, but and the 1 through 7 plastics used to go to Pennsylvania, but they shut down, and the last load we shipped just went to a warehouse in New York. So that load we had to pay to get rid of, but it was still cheaper than it would be if it sent it to the landfill. It's like, we had to pay like 2.5 cents a pound to get rid of it, it would have cost, say like 4.5 cents a pound to put it in the landfill.
And people are trying to come up with constructive ways to use recycling.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what the plastic company does, is they make clothes and water bottles, and people are trying to find ways, it's not like it used to be though, right? It used to be a different,
Just a quick follow-up, like, I've seen 2 other towns that actually did the figuring on, like, recycling from a green perspective, and the recycling trucking was really, you know, removing the benefit from a environmental perspective.
yeah, it's definitely not what it used to be at all, where it was.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes?
One more question. So I have a contractor working on my house, taking the siding off and removing that. They were bringing it to the transfer station. How is that gonna work now?
So one of the things, we wanted to get these fees in place for the first of the year. And as it was mentioned, someone mentioned about having a different colored sticker. There's going to be another step to this, and that's going to be trying to deal with the commercial use of the facility. And so that's going to be phase 2, dealing with those home renovation projects that you hire a contractor for, or our local businesses that are bringing their waste into the facility, and how we issue a permit, what rules and regulations we put around
Okay, great.
Bill?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Going back to the permits, if you have a person that has a $500,000 house, in town, and they buy bags, they go up to the recycling center, okay? They can't prove they're from Littleton unless they have some type of different documentation, because their registration, their vehicle, chances are it can be somewhere else. So, that might be a
Trick bill,
problem.
did you say?
Yeah, we probably, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Troy, my understanding is the transfer station will be using the same identification that the,
town clerk's office.
thank you, town clerk's office uses for auto registrations.
So like a water and light bill.
So like a water and light bill, a Spectrum bill or whatever that has your address up here on it. Yeah, we have a neighbor who lives in Massachusetts and comes up here 2 or 3 times a year. So, how would they get rid of their trash?
And
So
the
the
other
same
question I
thing.
had was, how do you measure your cubic yards that come in?
That would be a Mike question.
Mike's an expert at it, he'll tell you exactly how to do it.
So like somebody with a demolition trailer, we just measured the length and width of the trailer and idea of how high it is, and come up with a cubic yard and multiply by the cost of what the fee is.
There's one of the discussions on our capital improvement
I
plan
was gonna bring that up.
is
Scale.
maybe looking into a scale system in the facility.
Yeah.
So you drive your truck, dump it, then drive your truck again, empty,
Yeah.
and then you minus, and it would be
Yeah.
more exact, because right now it's a bit of a,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could do it by cubic yards, that if somebody just ripped off 3 cubic yards off their house, right? They have a slip saying, this is what I just replaced.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's not an exact science without the scale, I think,
Right.
and that is on the improvement plan for like year 4 or 5, I think. They cost a lot of money and it's a big deal, but it would
Yeah.
be great. It'd make it more fair, right? We've all gone with our
And you come
trucks.
under the laws of the weights and measures. That's a different ballgame.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If we get a scale, it's a plan, after all.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Hey, Brian Havlock. One, I'm in favor of what you're doing, but I think it's gonna be much more complicated. I've seen with other towns and communities. One thing that I have noticed over the years, every time, whether it's the town of Littleton or other towns have, I'll say, increased costs, the amount of illegal dumping has been massive. Up by my house, it's a perfect example. We get everything from gas grills to mattresses, you name it. And weekly, it's a truckload of beer cans and bottles and everything else. That's just at the top of my use list. I strongly believe in implementing excessive fees or fines for those who are illegal dumping, because they're not going to care unless it's real, you know, they hear that their friend got nailed for $2,500. It's gonna make a difference and it's gonna stop it. But if it's, oh, $75, oh, they're gonna gamble. They're not gonna care. So, that and on the commercial vehicles, one, there's a lot of people, I can't say a lot of people, there's people now that are driving commercial vehicles and they may switch out weekly from their employer. So, they don't really know, you can't put a sticker on it, and it's not their vehicle, so you can't put a sticker on it anyhow. So you have to take those into effect. One thing I did notice in other towns, I think Berlin's doing it, for your contractors, they've implemented that in, and I hate to say it, but basically it's like a renovation fee. So you go in, you let the town know what you're doing, say you're gonna put a new roof, new siding on, you pay $25. You're given that piece of paper, they give it to your contractor, when he goes to bring everything in, he's got that piece of paper, you've already paid for it.
Right.
So you're not gonna, and it's the kind of a gamble, because you don't know the exact amount, but that is built into it. And that way the contractors aren't wasting everybody's time, they're literally just in, out, dump it, and they go.
It's not a bad idea.
So,
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
It's one
yeah,
of
if
those
they're
where
going
we
with a
have
dump
to
truck,
start
that's a little bit
somewhere.
different
Yeah.
than a dump trailer.
Yeah.
I think we'll reassess these things if they go through each year too, and Mike obviously tell us if it's not working, if it gets
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah.
Be in conversation with us, because we'll see.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Pat first and then December.
No, Pat Kellogg in Littleton. I just wondered, someone asked and it wasn't answered yet about where is our waste going?
Right now?
Yeah,
It goes up to Carberry.
it does go.
Am I correct, Mike?
Yeah.
Yes. It goes to Carberry. Yeah. December?
Yeah, just as far as the contractors go, I mean, contractors, part of doing business, demolition, they charge for it.
Right.
That's, every contractor I've ever worked for, we charge demolition and we charge to dispose of it. So the idea that like residents are having to worry about what their contractors are doing with the trash, I mean, it's up to them. Yeah, residents are gonna have to pay more money, but I mean, that's part of it. If you're going to create trash, you have to pay for trash.
Right.
That's part of the whole process. And the town has been slow bleeding for years out of that transfer station. I understand the need for, you know, to prevent illegal dumping, but some of the numbers that have been shared with what, you know, has been the cost, and there's a lot of money that transportation has been bleeding out over the years, and there's been no recouping anywhere. So, I mean, I know it's been 9 years since the figures have been changed with the bags and everything, but I think it's really, this is the time to make sure that everything is covered. I mean, if you're gonna do the $35 mattress fee, where it's zero now, why not just make it 40, so you're covering $5 for the, you know, administrative costs or the cost of transfer station. You're already adding $35 on there. What's another 5? So, I mean, these are things that now's the time to look at this. You make trash, you have to pay for the disposal of that trash. That's it. And I mean, these are fixed costs. So it's not something, a lot of it has to be guessed upon. So I really hope that the board takes into consideration, you know, weighing in that residents should be paying for contractors, and, you know, that this is, it's, the cost is shared to where it should be. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything else, Troy?
No, I think we got some good
Yeah, a lot
public
of
input.
feedback.
And,
That's funny.
just, once you close it,
Oh, Mike is in the back. Mike wants to say something in the back.
Just about the mattresses, there is a correct fee for mattresses on $20 on twins and $30 on queens and above, but we're paying $35 to get rid of them.
No matter what size they are.
And they don't care what size it is, it's
Right.
$35 for a twin and $35 for, doesn't matter what size.
Right.
We're
Okay. Any other questions or comments? You're,
No, if, once you close the public hearing, and if you entertain a motion, just to point out that the two items that have been mentioned during the hearing, the tire rim fee not changing, remaining at $1,
right,
and the miscellaneous C and D debris remaining, or just the new published cost would be $60 a cubic yard.
right.
We see you.
Okay, Rudy, I did not see you until you stuck your hand up back there.
I just heard the pen.
I just to figure out, with another gentleman over here, just 2 bags a week, okay? I'm talking about for family. 2 bags a week, right? $4 a bag, right? No shit like that, you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm waiting for your question.
Do you know, I'm pretty sure you're smart in math, maybe. Do you know how much it's gonna cost the taxpayer yearly? 2 bags a week.
It's not gonna cut,
Most families don't do 2 bags a week.
What's that? You not fill up 2 bags a week?
Oh, yes, they do.
Not even close.
No.
My
You not fill up 2 bags a week?
no, that
we
Or
don't
you throw
either.
your garbage in the street?
I think it's all different, right? Maybe there's an average, but I don't know if it's 2 bags.
An average,
Yeah,
okay? You know how much it's gonna cost to, yearly?
Did you do the math?
Or the taxpayer? You figure it out? The town manager will figure it out to that? Or Mike over there, do they figure it
It's
out?
not 2
I
bags
got
a week.
$416.
That's right, you're right, you're right.
My phone's smart. I'm not.
That's it, 2 bags a week if you're
My
one bag.
pen is mine. Do you really think that a taxpayer is still, on top of everything that we pay, for taxation, the property tax and stuff like that? You put another $460, $416 a year to a taxpayer?
yeah, but the taxpayer is gonna have to pay taxes if we can't make the transfer station profitable again,
Yeah.
to be able to cover the transfer station costs.
So maybe they can try to get their trash to 1 bag by recycling and
I really
compost.
appreciate, your point, but I'm talking about the taxpayer, that they gonna put their hands in the pocket for another $460 a year to go through the garbage, right?
Thank you for that. That's
Thank
a
you.
good point, for sure.
Or no? Is it right? Is it wrong? What?
The number's right.
No mumble, talk, no mumble.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
I'm talking about your boss over there.
Go ahead.
She's always mumbling,
Go ahead.
but she doesn't accomplish nothing.
So it's a good point, Rudy, I understand, and I hear you. So there's a couple different ways, off the top of my head, there's 3 different ways the town can deliver this service. One, the town could just elect not to have any type of transfer recycling facility, and homeowners would have to contract with private companies like White's, right? And that might cost you
A lot.
$50 a month, maybe it's $60 a month. The other way would be that the taxpayers pay 100% through their tax bill to operate the transfer recycling facility. No fees, gates are open, you get to go in there, just including your tax bill. And I think that back in 2005, the residents of this town, they knew that these costs were increasing. They wanted to find a way to make sure that people that didn't want to recycle or generate a lot of waste, that they paid their fair share. And I think that's where this pay per bag system came about, that you as a property owner, you as a homeowner, a resident, if you can try to generate 1 bag of trash a week, it's $4. If you're really lazy, you don't care, you throw all the tuna fish cans and the milk jugs and the egg cartons and all that stuff, and you can pay $40, $50 a week. So I think it's a compromise of making everyone a little responsible. If you don't want to be, you don't have to be. The taxpayers still do subsidize the operation of the facility. You see there's a warrant article that always says, you know, to raise X amount of money to make up for what the fees don't cover.
But this over here, eventually, it's like you implement more taxation to the citizens of Littleton.
Yeah, but if we don't try to, nobody wants more, but if we don't keep up with the cost of this, that warrant article at town meeting, that number that we asked for, it was 100,000, say, last year. It'll be 150 this year. It'll be 189,000 the next year. It's just gonna keep growing. That number's not gonna go away, but to try to stabilize it, trying to do it through fees.
You had mentioned the scale. You never know in the future, you could go to getting rid of the bags and everybody pays per pound.
Yeah, exactly. You never know.
Don't give us any ideas.
I know, we're not there yet. Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you.
All right, should we close? It's 5:36.
Ready to close the public hearing on the transfer station fee schedule? What time is it?
5:36.
5:36.
With the changes made.
With the changes made,
Second.
We didn't move.
we haven't moved it yet.
I thought Roger just said.
No, I just said, she just said to close it, and I said with the changes made.
Right,
Just to make sure that we're.
because the motion's gonna be for both the transfer and the fire department.
Oh, so we gotta wait for both. Okay, so we're moving on to the next one then?
Right, okay. So the next public hearing is the fire department fee schedule at 5:37.
Yep.
Okay. And Troy, do you want to present?
Probably the same introduction as I did the transfer facility about how we got here. Again, just a discussion with the budget committee last year and select board. Chief Miller is here this evening. As you can see, he's really taken an extensive look at his operations and where there's areas that we're providing services today and we could capitalize on having fees. So I'll let Chief Miller talk about those. And I'm not sure how we want him to present. I know he spent like 45 minutes at a work session. And again, these have been published, so people are aware of what's being discussed. So I think a high level just overview and open up for public discussion.
Go ahead, Chief.
All right, so starting off with EMS, these are fees that are adjusted to reflect our area's 325% of Medicare, which is what's recommended by our billing company as a result of recent legislation in New Hampshire that will allow us to collect that much from commercial insurers and eliminate balance billing, which is where somebody that has health insurance has their health insurance pay, and the gap piece, not a deductible, but a gap, is required to be paid by the patient. So everybody's very happy that that process is going away. So those numbers are very specific for that purpose. Our billing company was concerned because of the way the legislation is written, that they may issue payment to that amount to the penny, and if we're billing less than that, we have to refund each patient the difference. So it becomes a logistical paperwork nightmare. If that's not the case, we may be back before you at some point to say, you know, we could adjust the fees to something, you know, a little bit easier to follow. For apparatus and personnel, these are right out of our mutual aid agreements. We don't often have to charge these other than for the ambulance. We do charge these we will charge these for hazardous materials incidents and going to the towns that are not covered by a mutual aid agreement. And it's important to know that the apparatus costs are just for the apparatus, personnel costs are separate. So, inspections and permits, we don't charge anything for any of these right now. And so these are, I guess I would say, averages of area departments that have a comparable type community to Littleton, as far as the types of occupancies. And some of them, not everybody charges everything. We left some things off. We felt like this was a fair representation. And so this is kind of an average of those fees, not averaging communities that don't charge anything. So it didn't water that down. We will not charge for, and it's not on here, but notably, we will not charge for oil burner permits, although we do issue them, and the issuance, the inspection of propane furnaces and any heating device. We're required by town ordinance to inspect every heating device installed in Littleton, and the ordinance prohibits us from collecting any type of fee for it, so we need to revise that ordinance before we can come forward with fees for those. The average is about $50.
I'd like to see where that ordinance is.
Excuse me, Bruce,
Yeah,
please wait until I open it. Thank you.
Hazardous material permits are as listed. In storage, we're starting to see a number of industries that are storing more and more dangerous type materials. And so these are often follow along with the fire code. If it's kind of like, how did I get to 660 gallons? It's what the fire code says it is a, requires for various tanks, chemical storage up to that size tank. Health officer, there's a few fees there. First aid and CPR and other training we have been doing, and we just kind of charge whatever we feel like the cost is for it, so this will really solidify that across the board. And then the various administrative fees, we had to change some of our practices. For example, we no longer send photographs on CD, which seemed like the cool thing to do for a long time. We're gonna burn a CD.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't work anymore, and so we buy flash drives or use an online system if whoever's requesting them has them. We don't have an online system to share them from. And so those administrative fees have just been updated, and they are compliant with state law for fees for reports and so on.
I appreciate the work you did to update all of these and look at standard practice with all the regulations, and this is a good thing.
Any questions comments from the other board members?
Oh, board members?
No? Okay, I'll open it up to the public. If you have any questions or comments?
My question is the same thing. He made comments about the fact that the town has an ordinance. The only ordinance that I'm aware of the town has is a wood stove inspection. Anytime somebody hooks up wood stoves, it's a requirement that was passed by the town that you have to have a wood stove inspection for safety reasons, and that would be the only thing. The other ones, I think, is either state or federal one pertaining to the fact that you get furnaces that hook up and something like that.
Yeah.
That's true, but he's making a different, that's not what he said. And that's not, I don't think that the town has ever passed anything on the other inspection parts.
So on the Littleton Police Department's website is a list of the town ordinance. Chapter 6 is chimney and heating unit inspection. This is pursuant to Article 23 of the 1979 Littleton Town Warrant. The Littleton Fire Department will have the authority to inspect all new chimney and heating unit installations within the town. It's very short. It says that we are required to do so to the 1986 code, which we are not doing. And under Section 4, there shall be no fee for such inspection.
Right.
So, in your opinion, that needs to be updated.
So yeah, we should update that. So that's why, that's where I got it from.
This was passed by the people in the town, because we made sure that it was on the town records and in the warrant. So it's not a case of these people did it, it was on the warrant and people voted for it.
It looks like it was in 1979. I haven't pulled the
It was
warrant.
before that.
Well, I'm happy to look into it some, but that's where I understand the ordinance.
A long time ago, anyway.
Yeah, the chief will look into that specific ordinance and warrant article. Thank you, Bruce. Anybody else have any? Casey?
So I do. So I want to let you know I'm opposed to fees. I think that you guys go through the budgetary process
and the budget should be reflective of covering the cost of everything.
Sure.
I do have questions on the emergency services. I mean, that's all budgetary. It was questioned a long time whether we bring the ambulance service in town or we have it out of town, and whether it's gonna be able to sustain itself. And I pay a lot of property taxes, a lot of people pay a lot of property taxes, to then have fees on top of it, regardless of who's paying. It still is the responsibility of the person riding in the ambulance, that bill goes to them.
Correct. That's how it works right now.
That's right. So in a lot of other communities and stuff, it's if somebody comes to your town and they're in an auto accident and they're not property taxpayers, you bill them.
We bill
If we
everybody
pay
now.
property taxes in the town, my own personal opinion is, I shouldn't get a bill for what I'm already paying for. I'm
Yeah.
paying twice.
I understand that. I'm not aware of any town that does that. There's some complications involved in that because we deal with federal payers. They require that we treat everybody the same, i.e. the federal government doesn't want to have to pay a bill for somebody when I'm giving it away to somebody else. The second piece to that is if you have health insurance and we transported you after January 1st, the insurance company has guaranteed they will pay us one of these fees. If I don't bill you, we won't get paid, and then your taxes are what's ultimately paying for it. All the revenue that we make on our EMS system goes straight into the general fund. So it goes to reduce that. And I certainly understand where you're coming from with fees. It's easier for me to not charge any fees, because I'm not really great at charging fees. We're, as a fire department, great at providing a service, and that is, to help people and to ensure safety and conduct inspections. But the reality is that the cost for some of this stuff is pretty high. So depending on how you count the revenue, the $1 million that the department makes goes to offset the tax rate that we would be charging for those services.
So that's on the ambulance stuff.
Sure.
So what happens if somebody doesn't have health insurance?
So if they're
the reason I say this is I went to one of my clients' homes and he had taken an ambulance route. And he says, I got a bill for $1,500 to go a half mile. He goes, next time I'll wait for my neighbor to get home. I'm not gonna call the fire department.
Yeah.
I've heard that from 2 different elderly people in this community, just recently, that they got the bill for $1,500.
Well,
That scares me.
if they're elderly,
They're not gonna do it a second time. They're the people that need it.
Yeah, I agree. If they're elderly, they're covered under Medicare, and the balance bill portion of Medicare is 20% of $700. And I can tell you that the policy of this board has been that we have never seeked to attach any type of property or go to court or even did any type of collections on any past due bill.
So how do you make that person feel comfortable when they said first of all that they're not gonna do it again?
Well, if they're elderly, they'll actually really only see a very small bill for their portion of the copay if they don't have one of these Medicare type Advantage type plans. So they won't see the bill because we bill Medicare on their behalf, which happens very quickly, and Medicare pays very quickly. So that's if it's elderly. Now, if you're not elderly and you're self-paid, you get a large bill. You do. And that's something that we are not going to fix here. The healthcare system is broken. There's no transparency. How much does it cost to have my arm set if I broke it? I can't tell you.
So my question is if the health insurance is not covering it and you're a property taxpayer in town, is there a different thing if they're not covered by the health insurance?
Chad,
I guess I don't understand.
I have a question. I thought the legislation in the state, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought legislation went through that if we transport somebody to the ER or whatever, that we bill the insurance company, not the individual who rides in the ambulance.
That's correct. That was the elimination of the balanced billing piece
Right.
of the legislation. In the past, it could go any number of ways. Plans are so different that I couldn't sit here and tell you, it could be every which way. But moving forward, if you have insurance, Under state law, the insurance is required to pay a set amount, that amount that we listed in our fee
Right,
scale.
they made it so it's equalized billing, is what it is, so you're not gonna get a different bill. And I don't do health insurance.
Yeah.
That's my disclaimer. I don't like it, I don't do it,
Yeah,
I don't
blame
sell
you.
it.
It's
So I only follow the bills, no
Okay.
different than what they do. But it was really, it maxed it out that it was 325% of your federal payout, I believe is what it is. So he's not wrong in what he's saying. If they're gonna be guaranteed that you're gonna get the money, then that's fine. My question is, for the people that don't have the insurance, that aren't going to get it, my two clients, they got billed $1,500 that says, I'm not gonna get in that ambulance and not gonna call them again. They're taxpayers in town. And that was their comment to me, was, I already pay my taxes, why am I getting billed? I don't know if there's a different
Well, and you shouldn't
fee
be
schedule
discriminating.
for that person, or if it's a box you check off when you do it and you're doing it with your billing. Do you have health insurance or do you not? Because, again, I think it's double billing somebody that's already got it if they don't have the insurance.
Yeah, we're not allowed to do kind of the wallet-ectomy, like, hey, tell us what your insurance is first, and then we'll send you a bill.
No, I'm just saying, do you have it or do you not?
Yeah,
It's a
that's
broken
the
system.
whole,
Broken.
wallet-ectomy. But, without details, I'm always happy to advocate on behalf of patients from how I understand, because I'm about providing the service. The service we provide is very high quality, and there's cost with it. And so, if you want to give me a call and we can work through the specifics about your clients, I may be able to do things to help them, or they may be aware of.
I mean, this is the public hearing to address that, right?
We do that with patients. We get calls from patients that we transported, and they get a question about their bill, and, what options do they have?
I just don't want it to be, we're gonna wave our magic wand for this guy, but we're not gonna for this person. Does that make sense? So it's either you have insurance, you don't have insurance, we're gonna bill out the ones that have insurance, but what happens to the taxpayer that doesn't?
They're responsible for, under that.
They're responsible for $1,500,
Correct. Yeah.
and they're not gonna call you a second time.
I understand that, and I don't like hearing that, obviously, because I'm not about billing, I'm about the service, but I understand and respect that.
So the
We all make
meeting,
decisions.
so the meeting I went to the other day, I thought it was very interesting, and it was under the courthouse that was here.
Yeah, I couldn't make that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, so there was a gentleman that stood up, and he was from another town, he was from Franklin, and he goes, a lot of people say I'm on a fixed income, and he goes, I wanna tell you, he goes, I'm not on a fixed income, he goes, I'm on a diminishing income.
Yeah.
So the elderly people, who everybody refers to them on fixed, he said diminishing, that's the people that I'm worried about, is that they may not have the insurance or anything else. And Medicaid, I'm not really sure, and I don't understand it, but they said that we have no Medicaid coverage in Grafton County. And I was told that by somebody in the health insurance. So does that have anything to do with this billing?
So we fall under a different set of federal rules and regulations. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Medicare is above 65, Medicaid's below. So that's why I'm asking.
Medicaid is about your ability to pay.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Medicare is a
Age.
plan you've played into and you opt into via age. Or you opt into
Medicaid can also be used by the elderly.
Yeah.
It can be, and so that's why I said there's a lot, you can have Medicare and Medicaid together.
Right.
But just kind of, as an example, if you're elderly and you have Medicare and you're on that diminishing income and you have Medicaid as well as your secondary payer.
Right.
Medicaid doesn't pay secondary payers, so we basically look at this and say, you don't have any income to pay, and we accept the Medicare payment, and basically your 20% gets written off as a Medicaid patient, because Medicaid pays us a matter of a couple $100s per call. So it gets very, very complicated. I'm not saying that I understand where you're coming from, and that's why I just offer, if anybody we transported has, or anybody in town has a question about an EMS bill, whether we're involved or not, and I'm happy to help them to the best of my ability, because it does get into a big soup.
It sure does.
Can I still finish? While I'm talking, so the next part you said were mutual aid charges. the apparatus and stuff. So is that what you're billing out to other towns if you go to there? You're not charging
No.
these fees to residents in the town?
Correct. So this is, if we are asked to respond to a town that does not belong to a mutual aid system, or the mutual aid system has deemed that we're allowed to bill for it, this, Twin State, for example, has agreed that this is the cost for a fire. So we don't bill this to a resident, we don't bill this to.
That's what I was wondering. It
to,
said per hour fee, but I didn't
to
know.
a company, but if you need, like a fire engine to stand by for an event for a specific purpose, that may be what we bill. If we are responding to a hazardous materials incident, under state law, we can identify a responsible party, and we're able to bill them, we will bill the responsible party. But generally, for car accidents, for fires, for fire alarm activations, we don't have a nuisance fire alarm ordinance, so it's not like we're gonna bill if we've been to your fire alarm 3 times or 4 times. It's really kind of one-off situations that we bill for.
And then going down through here, there's fees to the schools, fees to the town pools, fees to that, to childcare centers, all of that. So I remember years ago, we tried to get rid of all of that in town. We tried to say, hey, we're in the same town, why are we charging the school charging the town charging the school, the fees that are here, your daycare centers, your childcare centers, they barely have enough to operate right now. And they're required to have you guys come in to have it done before they can open every year. But the fees, I don't think should be something that we're swapping back and forth. I mean, it's gonna come out of my tax bill, whether you charge them up there and it's there, that should be part of your budget. That's what we pay for. And again, we shouldn't be charging, you shouldn't be charging fees to us at the school level, where we're paying the school tax and you're paying it at the other tax. It's just, I don't agree with the fees, the stuff that we're already paying for and should already be covered within our tax bills.
So
And I could go line item by line item. I'm just saying, I can't believe that the select board, who we've voted in, are going along with fees on top of taxes within our own schools versus town and swapping things back and forth. That wasn't good. I mean, we went through it and we started all of a sudden having mutual agreements. Back a couple of years ago, where the town garage would plow for the parks. We'd do that, we'd split back and forth, but not charge each other within our own communities.
Okay, thank you. Bruce?
Well, I sort of want to hear from the select board. On to the fees, the fee schedules.
From the fire department perspective, I pay other governmental fees in Littleton. We pay for electricity, we pay for water, we pay for sewer off the top of my head. If we use the transfer station, we pay for the transfer station. So I get where you're coming from in the efficiencies there. I'd say for schools, not every school is a government school. There are private schools, there are for-profit schools that we inspect.
Are they taxpayers?
So, yeah, I understand.
That's my point. They're paying for that service. They're paying within their taxation to have the fire department
Just a
go.
minute, please, just a minute. You have been talking for almost 20 minutes, we've been dealing with this. Chad, are there regulatory laws, safety laws requiring us to do these inspections?
Some of these, yes, schools
Okay.
inspections are one that
Okay.
are required.
The other thing, we were charged as a select board by the town's budget advisory committee was to revisit all the fees that are charged for our town services.
Revisiting, not adding to.
Excuse me. So that is what we have done, okay? Bruce, you had something you wanted to comment.
I'll come in after he speaks on behalf of the school.
Oh, I'm not speaking on behalf of the school.
Yourself.
You want me to go
Well,
first?
I'll just do that. Within the last 3 weeks, there was an elderly person in turn that called for an ambulance. Lancaster showed up, okay? Why, the person said to me, why did I end up having Lancaster show up for the ambulance service here, not the town of Littleton, which I'm a taxpayer in and pay the thing, I have insurance?
Okay, Bruce,
Yeah,
I had an ambulance come to take care of me, okay? Our ambulances in town were all at other medical calls. I had to wait for Lisbon to show up to transport me to the ER.
Then we
It's
got a
part of
problem, we
it-
got a problem, and we shouldn't be going out of town with these things.
No. All our ambulances were on local, on that
We
particular.
shouldn't be even in the ambulance business. We should, having Grafton County should be handling the whole thing
Okay.
on it completely. We shouldn't, no town can, whether it's New Hampshire or Vermont, can afford ambulances.
Okay.
This guy shouldn't even be in this business now.
Thank you, Bruce. Dale?
Dale Pryor, I think it would help if you clarified the apparatus and personnel section. To Casey's point, if this is a mutual aid fee, there are people in town that believe that if the fire department comes with a ladder truck and a tanker truck
Yeah.
to fight a fire,
Yeah, no.
that they're gonna be billed $7. That's what,
No.
that the belief is since this has been posted. Because it does not say non-emergency, it does not say mutual aid.
That's why I asked.
That's, I think needs clarification to be,
Okay, when it was posted, was the mutual aid not listed at the bottom of that?
Yeah, this format changed a little bit, so thank you for sharing that. I had not
okay.
heard that yet, and that's something, certainly something we want to
Yeah.
clear up. I don't, that's not the intent of the fee.
Right.
Every now and then, for example, if Lisbon were to decide they didn't want to be part of our mutual aid system, but then they called us in an emergency, we would then bill them.
Right.
So that's the purpose of it, and not individuals, or if you get in a car accident, all that type of stuff. So yeah, we definitely need to make sure that is clear in the intent, unless you want something different.
Okay, is this a new question, or is it the
I'm
same
just gonna add
subject?
something real quick.
I wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dale.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You guys just continue,
Okay.
sorry. I'm not speaking on behalf of the schools, but the school puts forward the budget, the town puts forward the budget. We all pay a percentage of said budget to, if this, the way this is written, it says school inspection. So we have three buildings that require a yearly inspection. We're saying that the school's gonna take $360 from the budget that was approved by the taxpayer to then put in the town budget. Okay, if it's gonna be private schools or for-profit schools, it should say
It
for-profit
should
schools.
say that, okay.
Okay,
It's all about whatever you guys want. I mean, it's,
Okay.
if you
So-
don't clarify that, in my
Okay, well,
opinion,
that's what I'm gonna try and clarify. So the school inspection fee on here is for the private and the profit?
We haven't charged any type of fee.
At all?
Looking at it, other departments charge schools fees for inspections, and so that's where that number came from. If we wanna, if you wanna say
Not-
not public schools, or not publicly funded schools, or however you wanna word that, I'd do some research on the wording first.
Yeah.
Then that's fine. These are really the select
Right.
board's
Right.
fees essentially, so I don't, it's not a hill I wanna die on at all. I'm just, as you recall, the budget committee was real insistent that we
They
take
were.
a hard look at the fees, and so
Yes,
that's the
they
result
were.
of this.
No, I'm not.
So,
I expect there
but
to be some
I
edits.
understand what you're saying
Me too,
about
Dale,
that, yeah.
But it says, I mean, they did ask you to revisit the fees
Oh,
that we're
yes.
charging, but this, to Casey's point behind me,
Yeah.
this has never been a fee charge, so
Right.
did they instruct you to look at new fees?
They instruct-
Yes,
that we were undercharged,
I'm just gonna finish with two questions.
Yeah.
So has the fire department had a budget deficit at any time in the last 5 budgeted years?
Not
Has
that
there
I
been a
know of.
budget deficit?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so the way that they have budgeted, they have been able to provide the services to Littleton, to all residents without increased fees.
Last year, we had over-expended the budget. There were a
That's
few driving factors. One, we had the July floods.
Yep, that's right, we did
And,
last year.
we
Catastrophic.
We covered the engineering fees, and then the
Overtime.
second thing.
Catastrophic.
We, it was about $50,000, if I recall off the top of my head.
Over.
And the second piece was, we took some stuff off the warrant for the proposed
Right.
coming year and purchased them
Yep.
before the end of the year.
Right.
So that overall led to a $50,000 deficit. Other than that, I'd say that there hasn't been, but I don't have, the exact numbers.
So I think it's important, like I've sat here in this room with budget committee members and advocated for our tax rate, that if we want the services that we want in town, we have to pay the tax rate. We can't have a full service fire department, a full service police department and not expect to pay for that. So I'm not trying to sound hypocritical here, but like if there hasn't been a budget deficit, what are we forecasting in additional revenue from this proposal that has been put forth? How much additional money are we going to generate in revenue that in turn should reduce taxes? And then secondly, how much do we spend on overtime in the fire department?
Have to get back to you on those answers.
For the year?
Do you know?
Yeah, I don't, do you have that?
The overtime question is not pertinent. This is a public hearing about proposed fees. And I think
I'm just trying to compare.
And I think we
so
should
I can-
stay on that subject matter.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine.
If we start going there, then next thing you know, we pay for the dog pound and everything else.
I can ask you directly, but I will.
Yeah.
So some of these fees and services, the insurance companies are already requiring the people to have.
Yeah.
So this insurance I do sell. We write the insurances on the businesses, we write it on the delis, we write it on the sprinkler fees. They have to have an inspection company come in, they have to do it, they have to provide these to the insurance companies. So I'm sort of questioning what inspections you're doing on the sprinkler systems. You're not gonna go out to the same business owners and do something under health, safety you're doing and have a sprinkler inspection on top of something that the property owners are already having to pay.
Property owners are not having their sprinkler system inspected.
Yes, they are.
I have to by law.
By
But the
who?
insurance companies are doing it. I have to do loss control recs every day, and I can tell you all the way down through Main Street, every building has to send them
So
into their
even
insurance
with
company.
that, we find errors and omissions. You know, we are the compliance, we put speed limit signs up on Main Street, and then the police officers make sure that the speed limit's enforced.
Right. I
That's
just want
our
to make sure
role.
they're not getting double
So
billed.
we go,
So if
they're
they-
not getting double billed by me, but we are often required to do plans reviews, to do sprinkler and fire alarm acceptance tests. We find errors in those systems, and we work through them with the contractor. So these fees are what fire departments charge for that.
Right, but you're not going, I guess that's my question. If you're asked to do it by somebody, that's one thing. I'm asking, are you gonna start, because you're getting fees, going down through Main Street and everybody that's got a commercial building that has a sprinkler system, that you're gonna require an inspection when the insurance companies have already required the inspection, and they have to have a 2-year contract. So everybody that has an Ansel system in town, whether it's a convenience store or anybody else, they're required under their insurance loss recs that they have to have a contract saying that they're gonna be checked and they're gonna be cleaned twice a year. And it's done by a professional company that's there. I just wanna make sure that the fire department isn't coming in behind and saying, because of the health and safety portion of the fire department, that you're gonna be making this a fee generating thing to the clients that are already had that, or another checkbox that says, do you have a contract? I'm gonna leave you alone.
So
Does that make sense?
the
Yeah,
sprinkler
we'll
and
let him
fire
answer.
alarm systems are on installations, not annually. So when you build a new building, you put a new fire alarm system, and we will come and do an acceptance test on the fire alarm system, that's what this fee is about. The next year, we don't go back, that's not an us thing. So we do it on installation.
So it would be
we
double.
have to get them from, whether it's new or old, we have to get it from an inspection company to provide to the insurance companies.
Okay.
December?
Yeah, yes.
Did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I was curious, so I know you're saying you don't like to really, enforce the fine or fees or anything like that, but what about like when that bleeder valve situation back in September and the AmeriGas property? I mean, there was a lot of response for that, but we're not billing that property. And from my understanding, there's been a lot of incidents of that property over the year, and yet time after time after time, taxpayers are footing the bill. So I'm just curious why, I mean, they are not a Littleton resident. They are definitely a corporation that could soak up the fees since they're incurring the cost of the town. So why are they not being billed?
So I did bill AmeriGas, and I believe we've collected about $5,500 so far.
On that one?
Under the allowance in state law to bill for hazardous materials incidents.
Okay, on that one in September?
We've had multiple, we've billed for every call for service I've had there that was considered a hazardous materials incident. And we've collected on all but one of them off the top of my head. I don't think they paid us for the most recent one, but based off their track record, I think that we're within the
They're going to.
time frame of their accounts payable system. So,
Okay, excellent, great, thank you.
Thank you. Bruce?
Yeah. I think if we should be limiting mutual aid to only adjacent towns. We should not be going to Lancaster, or we shouldn't be going to St. Johnsbury, or we shouldn't be going to Woodsville. We need to be limiting what we have in mutual aid that says we will take care of our neighbors that are adjoining the town. And that's what should be. Now, we don't eliminate the expenses of having to call, or if they did go, then you build a fee in so it goes to some other town. And that's what should be done.
so I'll say that, first of all, that's under the authority of the fire chief.
No, it isn't.
It is.
Not if we tell you what to do.
No. Secondly, I've had multiple 4-alarm fires where we had more than our neighbors here. How do I tell those people that I'll never come to their community or I'll bill them?
You
for that
tell them
same
like
response?
anybody, if we put an article in here to make sure you do it right.
Sorry, your building in St. Johnsbury is gonna burn down. Is that what you're saying, Bruce?
We don't,
Yeah,
well, it
no.
could be Hartford, Connecticut, for Christ's sake, so we can keep going like that.
Okay, that's it. The language
Yeah,
is done.
fine.
Fine.
Two things. One, we brought this up years ago prior. Every single, I'll say almost every single homeowner business policy has a clause in it to pay a minimum of $500 to a fire department for just responding.
A clause in what?
In insurance policy.
Oh, insurance, okay.
So, and it's in, I'm gonna say 90% of all of them that are out there.
Okay.
And we brought up by saying, and this is, I think we brought it up years ago when there was a forest fire caused by somebody. And we said, listen, put something in to get that $500. 90% of the time, the person's putting the claim in anyhow.
Right.
Get the it's $500. Get it. If they don't have insurance, or they won't pay, whatever, it doesn't, bill them the $500. Whether it's in town, resident or not, again, they've got it and they'll pay it.
All right, thank you.
Forest fires are paid by the state.
Any other questions,
Interesting.
comments? Okay, I want to close the public portion of this. It is 6:12. Okay, any comments or questions from board members? Suggestion, Chief, do you want to?
I'll just say that, you know, these fees are starting with the budget committee last year, I was asked to investigate, that's what these are.
Right.
These are your fees, adjust them as you see fit. You know, I'm not gonna stand here and say that, you know, we absolutely need to charge
Right.
$25 for that sprinkler head or not. So I just, you know, just wanted to reiterate that for you guys.
All right,
It's got something.
So I agree with the comment that we shouldn't be charging fees that are just spinning around it, that we're increasing the budget of another.
You mean
We bill the school $300, school puts that in their budget, they pay us the $300.
So the school inspection should be, that verbiage should be modified.
Yeah, I
Is what
would
you're
think,
saying.
what Dale said resonated. I think maybe we should have it not be for public schools.
Just a
The 3
private-
public schools. I don't know how
private
to
school.
word that, but, I mean, or that's how I feel. I don't know if everybody else
Yeah.
feels the same way. But it does
I think at
seem,
this point, if you wanna do that, I would just.
Take it
say
out.
to remove it in total,
okay.
and we can take another look at it if you want.
We could
but
just take out that whole
some-
line.
If a school receives partial funding or federal funding, or
Yeah.
they're not, you know, they're a regional school,
Right.
there's all kinds of weird.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with all the governance of it, so I don't wanna sit here and try to, I don't wanna build one by mistake or
Maybe that's what I'm
whatnot.
saying, rather just
But
not.
we don't do a lot of school inspections.
That's what I was just gonna ask you the next question.
We
Right.
probably do
A couple a year.
7, 8 a year maybe,
Okay.
so, yeah. If that's what you want, I'd say, just take it off
I
altogether.
mean, my concern is, you know, the school systems, the public school systems we have, they go through your own inspections and all the rest of it. Am I correct, Dale? Okay. What about the private schools that come in?
Or charter. or-
So we will inspect any of those schools, we do inspections for.
Okay, my thought, if it's a private school, and we have to go in and inspect it, I would think the fee should be charged to them because it is a private school. If it's a public school, as Chad said, getting federal or state funding, that, yeah.
Feels different.
It does feel
It
different.
is different.
It does feel different.
How do you, what do you think?
So,
I agree.
so, excuse me,
We don't do home school inspections. because we don't-
right.
He also needs to
So-
address that.
I think one way to address this is,
Okay.
because you don't know what's gonna come down the road with schools.
Right.
Whether they're private or some other semi-private, public. But we could just simply put in the fee schedule, school inspections, what you can put excluding,
Public.
Public schools.
no, public, I guess there could be some other type of public school, I don't know, state university or
right.
something comes in our town. But just say excluding the Littleton school.
Littleton School
Town.
District.
SAU 35.
SAU 84?
That'd be short enough.
Well, yeah, we used to read
I was trying to think of what I could fit in the parentheses, but
We
you're
don't do
right.
inspections on that.
I do.
I like that.
I
SAU,
I think that makes sense to me.
and that way,
So school inspection, parentheses, excluding SAU 84.
And this came up during our work session too, I want to tell
Right.
you, Dale, so thanks for
Right.
speaking to it. It came up and we did talk about it a bit, like this one feels weird.
and I think the comment was made about the public school, and we talked about this.
We did.
I'm
Yeah.
still not comfortable with that as well. And I think that should just be excluding, I don't, basically, we have a pool. I don't know if the school will ever have a pool, but I mean, just put excluding.
Town pool.
Oh, the town pool, yeah.
I know public, especially closer, shouldn't it just exclude any town-owned entity? We shouldn't, it's the same, no matter what department it is, you're doing the exact
I see what you're
same
saying.
So does that mean I don't have to pay any more town-issued bills?
thing. Not
Because I pay for that now.
Do you inspect the town pool up at Remick? I
We
thought,
have conducted inspections there.
For zero
and
cost.
we ran into a very unsafe condition. Fortunately, there was an injury, but
yeah.
could have very easily been fatal, but it was.
So we talked about this at the work session too, a public pool and spa can also mean with the Hampton Inn, that's a public pool. So we could say public pool and spa inspection, excluding the municipal, the,
Town pool.
yeah,
Town pool.
town pool. If
Are
people
you
feel.
okay with that?
I'm okay with wherever you all want.
Well, I do, but you know, the
no,
people
but I
are speaking
understand
about that, feeling like
that.
double dipping, and I do get that for these items.
I get it.
So you asked to do those now, at like the Hampton Inn that has a pool and stuff. So again, I asked the same question. So I put in a chairlift because ADA required it for downstairs in my basement. There's a hearing aid business down there. There's 3 stairs. And I went and I put it in to make sure I did that. Now I have to have an elevator inspection by the state every other year to make sure that my chairlift to go down 3 stairs meets inspection. So what I'm saying is that
Same in my office
business
building.
owners, we're just all inundated with fees and services.
Regulation,
From
stations,
regulation,
right.
from the state, from everywhere else. That's what I'm saying is really, if it's in here and you're only got one pool, why is it even a line item in here for fees that we're even talking about putting all of these fees on it? And I'm like, Dale, how much do you plan on generating by putting these fees in? It came from the budget committee. Did you go back to the budget committee and say, hey, I came up with these fees, this is how much we're looking at generating before moving forward with this, to see if they agree and you agree with it?
We had our work session.
Did that,
We
those
had,
questions answered?
excuse me, we had our work session. It was published. If people did not come to it, that's on them, okay? We had each one of our department heads go through their fee schedule and create this list for us. This is our public hearing for these fee schedules.
So can you
Okay.
let us know what
So
the
we
answer to that question was during your work session?
To which question? About this,
How
about
much
specifically
these
about the pool?
fees are going to be generating to offset the fire department's budget?
Well, we know.
Well, it's really hard to tell
They're
because
the first
the
year.
development comes in cycles. Some of this is annual, some of this is as it's, when things are built or changed. It's really hard to tell. I don't know what to expect. we haven't tracked all of these in this category because we haven't had a need to, and we didn't want to spend the time on it, so.
It'll take 18 months at least before we
Yeah.
find
Get
out what the
data.
historic.
Basically, I'll give you, everybody a report that shows, each one of these columns and what it did. And then maybe it gets revised, if it were to get accepted, we revise it. It's not worth this fee.
It's not like we can't change this,
Or eliminate it at
right?
any point you want.
Okay, so the public pool and spa inspection will not include the town pool. Okay.
And this,
How about the
and
CPR training for the lifeguards at the pool? So that's another line item that's in here. And that's what I thought was always part of the benefit, is that the fire department would teach the CPR, the first aid, to another department, whether it's not even the pool. I mean, it could be that somebody's required to have it in the town office or something else.
Yep.
You guys are certified, we pay for that certification through the budget process to have your guys keep your certifications up. Is that something that you're gonna start charging again? In
So
between
sometimes-
for the first aid CPR training amongst yourselves?
So for CPR, I have costs related to that. So if I want to train 10 lifeguards, I have to pay so much per card. So our department doesn't want to absorb that cost.
Yep.
Just like Water and Light doesn't want to give us free electricity and free water, which I
even though I ask all the
yeah,
time.
even though we ask very nicely, and I get that, because they have a cost to provide that as well, so I don't think we're looking, I can come up with what the cost is for, out of pocket, and we do that type of stuff as needed in between the.
Right, my comment was, I figured that's why we put it in there. And why we guys had to do it wasn't to be doing it for the general and competing with American Red Cross and providing it and charging out. It was put in there so that you guys could be self-training yourselves in your own department plus other municipalities.
Okay.
We are not competing with anybody.
Excuse me. I have already closed the public portion of this discussion. I have one more question,
Okay, my question is,
and we're done.
if we don't if we exclude the public pool for inspection, and somebody gets injured up there, and the town's got.
No, we're still gonna do the inspection.
No, just not charging. Oh, we're talking about the rates, not the, oh, yes, I'm sorry, yes. Right now, these things are happening at no cost, we want to.
So I'm revising to 6:22 is when we close the public portion. The board, I need you to make a decision on the fee schedule. Is there anything you want to change on it, exclude on it, cross out, whatever? Ed?
Well, the ones we talked about.
Okay.
The public pool.
So
So they're going,
we've changed the school inspection to exclude SAU 84.
correct.
We've changed the public pool and spa inspection to exclude the town pool. We have changed the school inspection for the health officer to exclude SAU 84, correct?
Yeah, in the transfer station.
You have the two in the transfer station.
2 on the transfer station.
And then the transfer station was the miscellaneous items at $60 per cubic yard. And the tire rim fee to $1.
To $1, correct.
Yeah, those are the
But
changes.
we did already vote on the transfer station.
No, we
did
didn't.
No, we didn't.
We have
No.
not.
Close the hearing?
We closed the hearing. Okay, Paul, did you
It's
have
all
any?
part of the same fee schedule. No.
Okay. Robert?
I'm okay.
Okay. Kitty?
I'm good.
Okay. So the motion states, I move the select board approve the new and amended fee schedule as presented with amendments as agreed to for the transfer station and fire department effective January 1st, 2026. Somebody'd like to move that motion?
So moved.
Ed moves it. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Paul second. Any more discussion? Comments, questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0, Vicky.
Minutes.
I will not misread here. That was a footnote, we're done. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from September 22nd for the public meeting.
We've read over those, and I say we move them. I think so, discussion
Okay.
more.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
The September 22nd non-public meeting minutes. As
I
presented.
will move to, I'll make a motion to accept those.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Ed's the second. All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes for October 16th work session.
Good job, Vicki, on these lengthy minutes. We talked a lot. And I will make a motion to accept the minutes as written for the, what date was it?
Second that on the 16th.
October 16th. And Roger seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next, town manager updates.
Okay. The first update I have is the general fund budget for September. And as I've reported previously, we're still trending in a very healthy manner. Nothing I'm aware of right now is changing that trend, so it's very, we're close to the end of the year, so we're really in a good spot. At this point in time, you should have 25% of the appropriations should be remaining, and we find at the end of September that we had 30.5% remaining.
Nice.
So this puts us at approximately $657,000 under budget, or 5.59%.
Great.
That's great, thank you.
That's awesome.
Next is the general fund revenue report. So these revenues get recorded and reconciled a little later than the expenditures. And of course, as we'll talk a little bit later this evening about, we have a tax rate estimate, or
Tax rate.
final tax rate approved by DRA, and they finalized some of the revenues that we don't know at the time that I printed this report. So at the time of this report, we should have about 33% left to collect. The report's showing that we have 38.7% left to collect, and that is the fact that we haven't received our state room and meals money, and we're still some of the highway block rate money.
We get that in November, the
It
meals?
comes in quarterly, but
Okay.
but the big check is the state room and meals. I think that's just over
Soon.
$500,000 a year,
Yeah.
and that comes in December.
Oh, okay.
So really, knowing that chunk of money comes in the last month of the year, we really are right in line with our revenue estimates.
And we know what that is now?
Closer to 600,000.
I think it's somewhere, it's not over, but it's somewhere,
590,000.
We're getting, yeah.
yeah,
It's a good chunk.
so it's good. The next item that I have is a letter that was in your packet,
Yeah.
written to our state senators and Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander. And this is asking them to look into the fact that our FEMA project that was in a warrant article this year to address the drainage issues, the flooding issues of Mann's Hill, Palmer Brook is what people call it. So unfortunately, but our engineering and staff, they submitted the application. It's set there on someone's desk, the report we're getting, and during that time frame, some of the criteria, the scoring criteria was changed. And all of a sudden now our project that we've been working on in engineering and working with, FEMA and everyone, isn't qualified at this point in time. So this letter is to encourage our congressional delegation to take a look at that and see what they can do. And I'm sure the board is in agreement with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it was in on time, it should be grandfathered.
I think so too.
So we'll have that.
Should not be denied.
No.
Do we have to vote?
We'll have
to do that?
yeah, I'd like to have you just
Vote on
vote to support the letter, and then
Absolutely.
you can come in the office and sign it.
I'll make a motion to support the letter too.
I'll second that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So just let us know when the original's ready to go,
All right.
and we'll come in and sign it. Okay?
And I'll just keep one thing here. I did have a couple other notes I just wanted to get the board up to date on. The budget is on the agenda, so that the 2026 budget, we are scheduled to present that to the Budget Committee Thursday night.
Oh, right.
And we are still gathering some of the final numbers as because of the tax rate being set late today. But that's going, as far as staff and internally, it's moving really well. I reported to the Budget Committee that I was looking to try to establish some budget guidance of somewhere between 5-8%, no more greater than that for the operating budget and all the warrant articles, town-sponsored warrant articles. So that would be excluding the petition articles. That's would exclude overlay accounts and all the tax credits. Last year, I recall that we had some discussion about what exactly was our guidance range would encompass that, and so it caused us to go back and make several adjustments. So we'll see where we end up. We haven't started working on our warrant articles yet. The proposed budget as of right now, I think it's a 5.9% increase over last year. But there are two departments that don't have wage increases, the police, highway, and transfer unions, the separate warrant article. I'm pleased to report that the riverfront stair replacement project, if you recall, those cement stairs were in pretty bad shape. And Eric started working on getting quotes from different contractors, was not having very much luck with the response. What responses we got were very expensive. Through another project about the Dells Dam, we had a contractor that came in as the #1 bidder. And having conversations with that contractor, we started talking about some other projects that we had. And they've just finished installing.
They look great.
They look good.
They're awesome. I used them the other day. The railings are being manufactured, so they will be installed before this year. But,
Good.
Granite's going to be there for a long time.
Yeah.
So they come out really good.
I hope you're right.
And I was, You what?
Said, I hope you're right.
They better be.
I just don't understand how they were put in and if the frost is gonna push them.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, they can be repositioned, I hope, when I mean.
Yeah, right, yeah.
We'll see. I think you've probably seen and heard that Bertha is in town. And we were be having a public hearing for the board to officially accept Bertha.
Okay.
At our next meeting.
Okay.
And then we can talk about storage and some of the requirements that that donation comes with. The CIP plan was presented to the Budget Committee last week, and I understand it will be presented to the Select Board in the future. There was some comments, interaction with the CIP Committee and the Budget Committee, where I think, I don't think, but they're going to come back sometime in January to report back to the Budget Committee. So I'm not sure if that report to the Select Board will occur after the January meeting, or if it will be happening sometime before the first of the year. I'll follow up on that, but it was a really good report.
I think we'd have to be after the first of the year. It's gotta be
The way it
updated.
sounded like.
It's gotta be updated.
Yeah. So, gathering of the jack-o'-lanterns, I was able to attend this year, so I was.
You were there?
I was here with my wife.
There were thousands of people there, that's why I didn't see you.
I'm glad I was able to attend. I really, what a fantastic event.
I know, it was.
It really was.
Really great.
I really enjoyed it. Remick Park drainage, that project has started.
Good.
Using the same contractors that did the stairs we just talked about.
Keep them.
And so this time it will be done with the phase where we're just starting at the green building that's going to be demolished one day, and working our way around the backstop and all the way to the where the outfield terminates. That's where we will terminate. And we believe that the pipes from that point to the road are actually still working. We've investigated the manholes, we've witnessed water flowing. So we think that just by doing this section, it will work. If not, there'll be a phase 2 that will upsize that pipe from the, like, say, the pavilion to the road.
Good.
The wastewater treatment plant clarifier last week was installed. So we have 2 clarifiers. Remember that as we started doing some upgrades on the plant that we thought were the number 1 priorities was the clarifiers. And then we later had the centrifuge fail on us, but they all need to be worked on. So we had the 1 clarifier done, and in about 4 weeks, we hope, they'll start working on the 2nd clarifier. And Eric had reported to me that the sludge hauling has reduced because, 1, we obviously are not trying to draw down the clarifier pit, and 2, this time of the year, where we're in between the kind of waiting around for the ski season, we actually see a reduction in the volume of wastewater. So although we're still hauling, we're still paying that cost, we're starting to see, so we're starting to see a little reduction. Still going on weekly. Still working. I had a meeting today, and we're going to have some more discussion tomorrow with our legal counsel and staff on our petition to Superior Court for a special town meeting. And so that is going along. I do believe that by the end of the day tomorrow, our petition will be formally submitted to the court. And just wanted to point out, we have some future meetings coming up. We have our team meeting, our department heads, tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
That's what that is, okay.
And the highway and transfer employee negotiations, we'll just do our initial kickoff. That'll be Wednesday at 1. Budget committee is this week at 5, and police union strategy session this Friday at 9:30. It'll be a Zoom.
The only one of those that's a public meeting is the budget committee, just so people, right?
What's that?
The only public
The
one
only
out of
public
those is
will
the
be,
budget committee?
yeah.
And that's held here.
Yeah, here, they're every Thursday, basically, starting October 30th for a while. They're very interesting. If you like talking money.
And I don't know, we can decide how we want to do it. There's people here, so they're probably interested in hearing it.
Yeah.
But I did, at about 4 o'clock, we finally received our 2025 tax rate. So would the board like to discuss that now?
I know we kind of already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People need to know.
Yeah, people have been asking me already, so I'm like, I don't have it yet, I don't have it yet. Like, we just got it right tonight too, so it's all new. Not bad.
Second, I thought I gave it away. So, the last page too, Lori has done a spreadsheet to give you a little understanding of what the dollar changes and percent changes. But last year's rate was $24.94 per thousand. The 25 rate will be $14.10 per thousand. This tax rate is based on the use of no fund balance to reduce taxes. And our overlay is set at 200, we had done it at 260, but the software rounds it to $259,256. So that's an amount that's carried to cover any administrative errors and any tax abatements that we grant. So in full transparency, I know that last year we had some discussion about reducing the use of the fund balance from 700,000 down to 350.
Right.
And we were talking about projecting our tax rate. But our fund balance now didn't really change, but it is at, the retention amount is at 5.09%, or $1,476,428. That is, I've always been on record that, I'd like to see it at least 8%.
Yeah.
Pretty close to minimum, ain't it?
And it's pretty close to minimum.
Yep.
And remember, we adopted a fund balance policy this year. And it set that guideline, I believe we were asking, our goal was to be at 8%. So that gets you a really decent rate, I believe, without the use of our fund balance, and hopefully we can start working on building that fund balance back up. It resulted in, so what Lori had here. The total tax rate is it's $10.84 less than last year, or 43.46% reduction. And as I told the budget committee last week, even though this tax rate is 43% less than last year's, we had that revaluation of properties, so there will be the adjustment of value in homeowners. And on top of that, the average home last year in March, we had calculated that with all the town, school, and county warrant articles, that the $300,000 home was going to increase $500. So as we left March, the voting polls, everyone had a tax increase, and the average home of $300,000 was looking at about $500,000. So even though the rates have gone down, you've had two things happen. We did walk away with additional tax, and we've had an adjustment in the value of the home. So there'll be different amounts that people will pay depending on the type of home that you have, the location of that home. So it's going to be, as a year that we start to try to compare, it's a tough year to compare how we actually ended up. But there's, I don't believe that there's much here that the board can do. There's only two things. This is your rate. You have the authority to reduce or increase the overlay, and you have the authority to utilize fund balance to reduce the rate even further. I don't think that's an option for the board.
Just to do some rough figuring, when I did it before, I thought it was gonna come in about $15 a thousand. So at $14.10, I'm liking it.
I thought it was gonna be a little bit higher too.
I'm liking it.
I mean, I wish it was $9 per thousand, but
Oh, yeah.
but I thought I was guessing 16, so this number is better than I
Yeah, remember the
thought.
last couple of years, there's nothing that got voted down on the town meeting, and so that's a lot of money, and it's gotta come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And people, while respecting that this is gonna be a really lean year, it's always, it's especially lean for people this next year, so, I mean, for myself as well, so I'm very sensitive to that, and I know that any increase is not great. But I agree with you, I thought it was gonna be higher, so I'm feeling better about that.
So it's just the 5-year vicious cycle that we're starting over again.
Yep. Yes.
Value goes down, value goes up. and
Yeah.
Back to this way, and then you can recess again.
Well,
Yeah, but we've
we'll
also,
keep an eye on that EQ rating. And
yeah, we've
Yes.
also discussed keeping the equalization rate at no lower than 80%. I'd like to keep it no lower than 90%, so that we don't end up what we had to. I'm not quite sure how we do that.
Right.
Well, by keeping an eye on it, and
Yeah,
just
I think-
review every year, yeah.
Well, this year, we passed a policy, a resolution
Yeah.
that we were gonna look at it every single year, and that we were gonna try to go no lower than 87.5%. So that's what we'll keep watching.
Yeah.
It had a max too. Okay.
Right.
110 or something.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So the board could vote to accept this, and then it can be processed tomorrow. And Amy in the tax department can start getting tax bills processed.
Gentlemen?
I'd move it.
Yeah,
Paul?
yeah,
I'd say so.
Carrie? No?
yeah, I'm all set with it. I'm real
Okay,
happy
so I'll
with it.
entertain a motion to set our tax rate at $14.10 per thousand.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Roger made the motion.
I'll second it.
Paul seconds. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Ed Hennessy, yes.
Paul Lehman, yes.
Carrie Harrington, yes.
Linda McNeil, yes.
Roger Emerson, yes.
Okay, thank you. And,
But it cost me a couple bucks. We had it back.
You got a bet going?
Okay, next on the agenda is the agenda policy, the review and adoption of proposed amendments. Troy, you want?
Yeah, so, as you recall, the board had a workshop on this, and we had a really healthy discussion. The issues that the board was discussing, a little concerned about, we just wanted to really clarify better in our policies so that we conduct our meetings consistently and fairly, applying to all. The areas of concern were speaker requirements. It was a little unclear whether, if you're a resident, non-resident, business owner, taxpayer, who gets to speak during the public comment period, the time limits, board response, so that it was clear that we make public comment available so that we can hear, listen, learn, but it should be clear that there's no requirement for the town to provide any written response back. And so we've incorporated some language about that. And the other part was making sure that we maintain respect throughout the meeting, so that the general public has respect for the select board members, the staff, and for other members attending the meeting. And I know that there's copies of the changes and additions that were in the table there as you walked in. I see some people have it in their hands. I think it's a really good rewrite of the policy.
It is.
It tightens it up.
Bless you.
We also,
Bless you.
this policy does change our agenda format. I think it just kind of makes it more efficient, where we'll have our standard call to order and pledge of allegiance and moment of silence. We're going to move approval of minutes up right after we do the moment of silence. Then we'll have our public hearings, and we're just going to have an agenda section called business.
Right.
And under business, between the town manager and the chair, we will prioritize the flow of business that will be discussed. So obviously, when we have department heads coming in to present, they are going to be placed first under business. We have residents or any businesses, anyone that's gone through this process to request time to be on the agenda, they would be next. And then all the work that we do will be prioritized, we think, how it should flow. And once you get through business, you have your town manager report, your select board reports, public comment, non-public session if required, and adjournment.
So if you go back to number 1, where it says all speakers must clearly state their name and residence address before offering remarks. And it says, what about non-residents and business owners? So in your Know Your Territory book, it explains that out. That the chairperson has the right to let people that want to speak. And it's at their discretion. Just to clear that up on residents, non-resident business owners, whatever.
Wait, where are you on one what?
Well,
One?
He was looking at my cover sheet.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were on this, okay. I see.
And so that was kind of my bad, because that cover sheet,
It's different than.
I
what
used
we
it for our work session, and
Right.
then I didn't catch that modification.
Okay.
So the outcome of our discussion at the work session, if I go to public comment section procedures,
got. Section 4.
section 4, and see if it's in A. Let's see what 4A is. So section 4, public comment section procedures, A. The purpose of public comment is to provide listening session and opportunity to make the select board more accessible to the town of Littleton residents, property taxpayers, and business owners. Non-residents are welcome to provide public comment, but only after all town of Littleton residents, property taxpayers, and business owners have spoken.
Correct.
So we kind of clarify that anyone can come to our meeting and anyone can speak. It's just that we're gonna have a priority over our business owners, our taxpayers, and our residents. And then we'll have anyone that's just here from another town, another state, wants to talk. And that whole public comment session is, in the writing, is we dedicate 20 minutes to it. There's still 3 minutes for everyone to speak, which I think 3-minute rule has worked really well. There's some ability here for, I get the section where the board can allow, or the chair can allow someone, if need be, to exceed the 3 minutes.
And we can also exceed the 20 minutes if my chair brings it up with a vote, right? Which has happened in the past, for sure. Personally, it's a lot more clear, I have to say, just personally, when I first got on the select board and I was fresh eyes to everything, I was trying to learn a lot, and I went onto the town website and read the agenda. I was like, parts of it made sense and a part of it, so it was always in my head that I feel like it needed to be edited and be a little bit more clear. And I had a couple people from the town say to me, some parts of this don't make sense to me. So I do like, it's lengthier, but I think it touches on a lot more of the subjects that we're in. If you read the old one, there's just like some parts that really don't make sense to me and to other people clearly, because they came to me. So I do like these changes, and it's something I noticed right off when I got on the board. I was like, I don't know about this agenda policy. Not that it was too loose or too strict or anything with that, just like the clarity. I was like, this doesn't make sense. Out of order? Yeah, it just was out of order, just felt disjointed, and so I think this makes it a lot more clear.
I think it'll run a lot more smoothly.
I like the changes of the order. I think putting the minutes first, and that makes a lot more sense. So I like those changes. I like calling it just business, old business, new business. Half the time you don't know it, you're like, oh, so it's business, right? It's town business. So I like that too. I like the changes.
And remember, the board, it's your policy. So anytime you discover something that isn't addressed, a new situation that comes up, you can amend it.
And Troy worked on this, thank you. This is also based in accordance to like how a lot of other towns do their meetings. So it wasn't like, we're gonna be special and do a meeting like no other town in the state. Like, it's based on RSAs and write the book that Roger talked about, and HMA, and Troy's worked in lots of towns, so it's like, there's a certain way things are done, and this doesn't have anything peculiar or different than how other towns do things.
No comment, gentlemen?
No.
Quiet corner.
Okay.
Do we need to move to adopt this?
Yep, I'll read the motion. I move to approve the revised agenda policy and procedures policy as presented by the town manager. I need someone to move that motion.
Second.
I'll second it then.
Okay, who moved it?
They're fighting for it.
Ed moved it.
I'll move it.
Ed moved it, who seconded?
Roger.
Roger seconded, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So will that start immediately once we sign it, Troy, or more if it?
Yeah, we'll get it, once we get it signed, we'll get it posted. The
On the
policy
website.
takes effect today. And
So November
we'll get it all
Yeah.
posted on the website, make people ask me, I'm sure, for copies, and we'll
Yeah.
get that.
Okay.
You got one for us to sign, or do we, everyone sign?
We'll have it. in your
We'll have a lot of stuff to
box.
sign this
Yeah.
week, yeah.
Yeah, we will. Okay, next on the
Conflict.
agenda is the conflict of interest policy.
So this one, again, as you saw, we've provided our legal counsel an opportunity to review it, and they really pretty much rewrote it.
They did.
And I have to admit, writing what we had and what's been recommended to change, I do think it makes it a lot clearer.
Yeah, it's a lot clearer.
And this policy
It's a lot more succinct.
will be, as I understand, there always was a practice that this policy was given out to our town staff and all of our boards and committee members. And
Elected or appointed, everybody's supposed to fill
That's
these
my
out.
understanding.
I'm, in all the boards I've been on in town, I've never
Never
had a
saw it.
conflict of interest.
But maybe we could do it through the chair of each board, so like
Yes.
all these different appointed elected boards, if they are in charge of it, then they can get the people to do it at the first meeting.
Yes.
Because there's a sheet, which I do like, it's
There's a
like
sheet.
writing the
Yes.
entity where you have an affiliation, if you're
Right.
on the board of whatever.
So I was reading that and I'm like, well, what would I do? So, as you know, I serve, so I'm a
Right.
town employee.
Right.
I serve on the health trust. And when I sign this, I'm gonna disclose that. Because the town actually purchases health insurance.
From Health Trust.
And some other
Right.
insurance policies through Health Trust.
Right.
But I'm a board member on Health Trust. Does that create a conflict of interest? I have to go back and look at the policy.
Yeah.
But the first step is, one, I need to disclose it and be on record that I've disclosed
Yeah.
it. Two, I probably, it would be unethical for me to actually enter into a contract with Health Trust.
Right.
I would have to bring it to this board.
Absolutely, yeah.
Disclose it, I'm a director, and recommend that we actually sign up for dental. But that's
Yeah, that kind of
what this
stuff.
policy is trying to accomplish, is
think-
full disclosure of certain areas that have that perceived
Right.
or actual conflict of interest.
But the correct me if I'm wrong, the town managers, town administrators, and select boards are not the ones that bring the health or the dental or the vision policies to,
The town managers.
it's usually,
Can buy these things, I mean.
yeah, but it's usually the HR director that does this, am I correct? Or the benefits manager?
They might go out and get the policy, but the town manager typically will sign.
So because you're involved with
Right.
Health Trust, you bring
Right.
it to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question on this last year with the warrant article. When we approve, say if we're going to vote to approve a warrant article, petition or otherwise. And if you're like a member of an organization, you've brought it up too, like you're a snowmobiler and you're like, and I'm a CASA, and I was like, should I vote on that? And the explanation that was given to me then too is, do you make any financial gain or are you on the board? So if I'm just a volunteer for an organization, senior center, volunteer, whatever, shelter, whatever, but I'm not doing a monetary gain or not on a board, those are the weird ones, because I'm involved with so much stuff, so I will have to talk to you.
Right.
Because I don't mind writing down everything, I'm not hiding anything, but I'm affiliated with a lot of stuff, as probably a lot of us are. But it has to do with financial gain. Like if you own a paving thing and you're trying to go for the contract to get the town's paving contract, and guess what, that's happened. I have a friend who's a select board member in a small town I won't name, and the person on the board was doing all the contracting and taking all the work, and that's not cool.
No.
Political suicide.
It's not cool. It's not good. Yeah, so that's what it is. I think just having people say what they're on boards for, or they're getting financial gain from businesses, if they're getting paid. A lot of people's work is volunteer, and that doesn't matter as much. Like I could vote on the CASA. I could say I'm a volunteer, but I also support CASA. And they were told, the lawyer said that was fine, that I could say that.
Yeah, so there's a good example. There's 3 areas that are kind of pointed out in the policy. They have adverse interest. So that would be a member in a decision-making related to contracts, transactions. So
Board.
So that would be kind of like me saying, you know, I have an adverse interest. A competing interest would be, I think, what you just talked about, that you have a paving company and
You're trying to get the business from the town.
and the third one is use of resources, where you might somehow utilize town services for personal purposes or gain. So-
Yeah. Use the fire department to throw your birthday party for free. Because you're a select board member. Or use the whatever, I don't know. Take over the pool for the weekend.
Get Eric to pave your driveway,
Right.
put new culverts in your driveway, something like that.
Get special treatment.
All right, just one change, that
Yeah.
it says purchase policy. The very heading here says purchase policy.
Oh, yeah.
Where? Oh, wow, that's so funny.
Use the wrong template there, bud.
I do have a question about page 2, just under disclosure, which is 3, then number 3. Conflicts of interest of an immediate family member of a covered person or a family member that resides with the covered person shall be imputed to the covered person. Can you explain that more? I just want to make sure, like, my kids or when my husband does, like, I just want to make sure I bow out of all the things I'm supposed to bow out of.
Where are you again?
Page 2, under disclosure,
Disclosure.
3, conflicts of interest of an immediate family member. So like, does that mean if we're married?
Yeah. You got a different 3?
Which means if my husband owns a paving company, which he doesn't,
Oh.
can he bid on the, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using an example. My husband does not own a paving company.
A lawyer wrote it.
I know, so I'm not actually sure, and I want to make sure.
Oh, so this
Yeah.
is, so I think what this is, I read that, and so you have a family member, or you have an affiliation with an organization that's issuing a grant to the town,
Okay,
kind of like,
yeah.
and I think what they're saying is that that may or may not be a competing interest, because there is no financial gain. So I just happen to work for, you know, organization X, and we're giving out $500 grants to buy public benches. But I'm also a town employee, or
Right.
my brother is on that organization. So they're not really competing. There's no
Okay.
financial gain there. It happens quite often,
Well, so
where someone sits on the board and they're reviewing grants and awarding grants.
Right. But it wouldn't matter if your wife was on the Board of Health Trust. Would you have to recuse yourself? That's what my question
I
is.
think I would.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you would.
That was my question. Like, if my husband decides to sit on a board, do I have to put that on the list too? Okay. Got nothing to hide. I'll make a big long list. All right. Other than that, I like it. I think we should have this and implement it.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments, suggestions?
It should be filled out every year, you think, Troy, the sheet with the affiliations, or just when they start, or probably every year, right?
I think it should be done, it should be actively, you know, managed, so if it's done every year, or at least every other year, but you want to keep it alive.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would think if you add any affiliation during that year,
Tell your chair.
They
or
should
tell your
come.
chair,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could amend
And you
it
can
anytime.
amend your signature page,
If you put it on there to a biannual inspection of it,
yeah,
but at any time you guys, you know, you can make changes, then
Yeah.
I think it would clear
Yeah.
it up for you.
Okay.
okay. So the motion is The Select Board approved the revised conflict of interest policy effective December 1st, 2025. Somebody move the motion?
I'll move it.
Okay, Paul and Ed seconds. Any more discussion, questions?
I'm just glad it's good, it's more comprehensive.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. Next on the agenda, special town meeting approval of hand count ballot.
So the town clerk has asked that the board be on record voting to authorize hand counting of ballots. We're not gonna, we don't believe that there's a need for the electronic ballot machine. I don't even think that the electronic ballot machines are actually changing out right now.
Excuse me, gentlemen?
It's hard to hear.
I don't even
Thank you.
know if, I think Angie was saying that they're not even available.
No, they're not, yeah.
To
No.
be programmed and
Until March.
operational right now, until March. So she just needs the board to be on record that that's the way they'll proceed. And they will make up the ballots, and her and the moderator, and they'll, oversee them, and they plan on hand counting.
It's for the special meeting for the wastewater treatment.
Wastewater treatment plant.
Just so everybody knows it's not the March meeting.
The motion would be,
It's written, she wrote recommendation there too.
yeah, that the ImageCast Precinct 2 to hand count for the special town meeting regarding the wastewater treatment plant, and then go back to the ImageCast Precinct 2 once special town meeting has been completed. So it's to suspend it for the special town meeting for the wastewater treatment plant, make it a hand count,
And then go back.
and then go back. What do you,
Oh,
He can't find it.
Well,
So
the way
much
you got to put it in
paper.
the books is a little different, so.
I'm not doing it.
So take this, just put the young page back. Oh, not like mine.
Vicky, did you get that motion? Okay, thank you. All right.
Well,
So I need somebody to move the I will move that motion.
I'll second. We
Okay.
gotta get the special town meeting going.
Any more questions, comments? Okay, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, you're missing a page.
You can write it all.
Sorry if
You want
I
that
messed you up.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Missed the tab.
I didn't know we had to do this every time someone left.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, we have to reappoint. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the resignation of the planning board member Mary Menzies. We do not have to vote on that because she has resigned the position. And then we need to appoint a planning board member to fill her position through March 2026. And the motion is to appoint Kevin, and I'm going to slaughter this.
Kihslinger?
Kihslinger? Thank you. Currently an alternate to fill the planning board vacancy until March of 2026.
I'll move it.
Okay, Ed moves it.
I'll second it.
Paul second. Any discussion, questions?
No, I just think it was done by the board, and that's who they want, so that's.
Yep. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
He's an alternate, so it doesn't.
Yep, and he's been coming, I'm on the planning board this year, he's been coming to meetings, almost every meeting he shows up, so he already knows what he's doing. He's been showing up as the alternate, so.
Okay, the last thing on the business part is the general assistance policy for the updated welfare guidelines.
All right, so we had talked about it last year. We were in the middle of the season where it's, we see demand for general assistance usually at a peak. And we had asked Seal if she'd go back and just take a look at the welfare guidelines that we have. These guidelines are pretty much standard throughout the state. You'll find this template used pretty much in all the towns and cities. They'll They might make some modifications, but they're usually pretty minor. So it's really the appendix in the back that should be reviewed and updated.
More regularly?
More, yeah. And so the only thing I wanted to point out is the only change that we had in the actual policy was page 7, and it was under the verification of information, where Steele had recommended, apparently there used to be a practice where we would actually, if someone didn't have a photo identification, that the welfare office will take a photograph of the applicants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that was, it's not practice today, but that was something a long, long time ago that they did. And she goes, we don't do that anymore, so. So she
They're
recommended
taking that
that
out.
removed,
Yep.
which then gets us to the Appendix A, which is the allowances that she's allowed to work within. There's still a lot of discretion that the welfare director uses, but these limits, it provides her with guidance. There are times that she might have to, award outside of it, but for the most part, this is what they would follow. So the first area is food, and it lists the monthly allowance for, it breaks it up into, so for a household size, one person, the food allowance would be changed from $200 to $291. And then it goes down
Family
for
of
a
four.
two-person, $535, three-person, $760, and goes all the way down to 8, a family of 8. And then there's an additional $150 for every person and exceeding of 8, beyond that. And then you have also your non-food allowance, so this is a lot of hygiene products, toiletries, paper products, stuff like that. And so a good example would be one person would have a monthly allowance of no more than $75. Now, with all of this being said, the welfare director will look, and if they're receiving food stamps, then they're not going to get food assistance on top of the food stamps.
Right.
Or any other type of income that they might have. But if they have absolutely no income and they qualify, these would be the limits. The monthly shelter allowance, this first table has utilities included. So in efficiency, as you can see, the current policy is $395 to $550.
That was way too.
And we know that that's, I wish that price was still available for folks. It would make it a lot easier. But anyhow, we're recommending that we increase that to no more than $1,250. A one-bedroom would be no more than $1,325. A two-bedroom, $1,675. A three-bedroom, $2,100. Four-bedroom, $2,475. So in the notes here, this information was obtained from HUD, Fair Market Rent Standards of Grafton County. So, and then it was also taken into effect what we believe the Littleton rates are, so a combination of both. Then it just breaks out the same type of housing where the utilities are not included. So you have a different, and obviously it's a less, for efficiency, it's $975 versus an efficiency with all those utilities at $1,250.
Shouldn't it be higher than the
We have mileage, where it talks about the mileage reimbursement for business travel, medical, moving, all this, charitable organizations, and we're just gonna be using whatever the IRS amount is for an individual. Very seldom am I aware of this ever being used. The burial allowance would go from $750 up to $1,000.
Were the first numbers the food allowance based on, I know the shelter were based on the HUD, you said the HUD numbers. What was the other one, on SNAP or something?
The headline up there is SNAP,
Yeah,
as of September 30th, 24.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, if they're a
Okay,
year
that must-
behind in their rates. That's what she was.
Well, these rates haven't been changed since 2013.
yeah, they were low.
Yeah,
Yeah, this has not been looked at since
yeah.
September
Over 10 years.
2013.
Over 10 years.
Which is not, it's not a good practice, but it's not uncommon because the welfare director does use
Yeah.
their discretion.
Anybody have any questions for Troy, any comments?
One comment, I guess. I had someone call me today from town who's really worried about losing their SNAP benefits, and I know that's on a local. She asked how I could help her. And I said, it's not really I care about her and I talked to her about it, but at the, New Hampshire is one of the states that potentially SNAP benefits are gonna decrease or go away November 1st. It's coming up. So I guess I would say that what we can do, she asked what we could do. And I said, well, there are food pantries and she doesn't drive. So I guess I'm going to just make a statement, and I think we're really good about this in this community, is to try to help your neighbor if anything does transpire like that. And sometimes it's, nobody should starve in our town. We have plenty of food around, but sometimes people need a little bit extra to deliver. Elderly, if they're elderly, disabled. This woman that called me today is very young, but she has disabilities and doesn't really leave her house much. So just do what you can, and I know people do that. I don't mean to be being weird about it, but if things get ugly, let's try to help each other. And we do a very good job in this town doing that with food. So it's gonna be, hopefully it doesn't happen, but we'll see what happens.
Anybody else? Okay. The motion is for the select board to adopt the town of Littleton welfare guidelines as presented, effective immediately. Somebody can move that?
I'll make a motion to change them. I'm glad it got changed, the standards.
Is that a second?
Second.
Okay, Roger, second. Any other questions or comments? All right, call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
So, selectmen topics.
This weekend was great. Littleton was amazing. I can't believe I saw LaTulip there with his jacket on, feeding the fire, and Deputy Gardner out there, and there were so many people there, and I don't know if there were any incidences of foul anything, but it seemed like people were enjoying Littleton. I heard so many people say, I can't believe how great this town is. Like, I'm walking along the thing and I'm just like minding my own business, but it was just cool. And I think it was a really nice event, and I think we should be really proud of. We don't do everything perfectly, and I'll never say that because no one's perfect, but we do some things really well, and we have a lot of great people that bust their butt and throw pallets on a fire until late at night when we probably wanted to be in bed. So I just appreciate all the people that make up this town and work so hard for this town.
I want to say thank you to Bill for all his efforts to get Bertha back. There's a lot of people that think that's frivolous, but those of us that have been here for a lot of years, we know the history of the town, and we really appreciate that. That's part of our heritage. And if we forget our heritage and where we came from, we're in trouble.
We've got a lot of people.
We're in trouble.
Participate, they've been great, the town's been great.
Well, you guys sat out there for how many days? Down at Shaw's to collect?
Oh, yeah.
And my hat's off to you, because I think it's an incredible
It was
effort.
it was a tough thing.
But it worked out. You did it.
Easier, it took me a whole year.
Yeah, but it didn't take you 3 years.
No.
So she's back. Good.
Yeah,
and I-
we're spin today.
Yay, I want to ride.
We put it down to that warehouse here.
Yeah. And I also want to do a shout out to Paige, who owns Tailswag, for the Doctoberfest.
Huge.
I walked down there and it was huge. There were a lot more vendors. Shout out to the Friends of Remick. They made the best lemonade I have ever had. It was so good. Everybody was just, they were in good moods. They had not just dachshunds down there either. There were several big dogs as well. But I think Paige was thrilled that she had it at Remick because of the turnout. There were so many people there. It was really, really good. And she did an exceptional job on it as well. Yeah.
Small fire this year, but it was hotter.
It was a great fire.
Oh, was it hotter? Okay.
We did different,
Yeah.
It worked out good.
Yeah, I missed the homecoming fire that I can usually see out my back door.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other selectmen's topics or whatever? All right, I'm going to open it up to public comment for 3 minutes. Anybody has a comment or
Only have one.
Yeah, excuse me?
Mark called, I think December was.
December 1st.
I can't see behind you, so.
Just wait, yeah.
Yeah, I was just,
Ooh, sorry.
I was just curious, why wasn't there like a public hearing made for the conflict of interest policy and the agenda policy? Like why, if the agenda and the meetings and stuff, if it's important for our input, which Troy did say, like public comment section, things like this is important for our input, why was the decision made not to allow our input on the actual agenda policy?
Can you speak to that, Troy?
Well, as I stated, it's a select board policy. So I know that we have public hearings here for some items and some things we don't. Usually it's state law that requires the public hearings. And those are we follow that state law. So town policies, our select board policy, there's no requirement for public hearing.
Yeah.
I think people could have commented, but nobody raised their hand.
Well, I mean, in the past, I've tried to comment outside of public comment section and been shut down. I know I don't have the meetings off the top of my head, but that has absolutely happened. It's on record. So I have attempted to do that before and have been shut down. That's why I didn't ask any questions today, because I've been shut down in the past. So, and the chair did not
in this policy that's written, and you'll get a copy because I know you'll want to get a copy. It does state that for any item that there is a board vote on, that the chair can entertain public comment. So going forward in the written policy, when there's going to be a vote taken, then the chair can entertain public comment going forward.
Right, I know, but I mean, the chair didn't entertain public comment for the, just because it's not required by law doesn't mean that it shouldn't be done for transparency and accountability for everybody. That's all. I mean, just because something isn't.
I think we're being very transparent. We made copies there. We put it on the agenda. Made announcements that we were going to have a work session for this. So I think this has been a very transparent process. It'll be on our website. I don't know how more transparent it can be.
I guess meant input. Like, for example, Carrie had said some people had gone to her behind the scenes and asked about the agenda stuff.
Yeah, nobody came to me to talk about the agenda policy, but I'm not blame. I just didn't get any emails about the agenda policy from anyone.
You had a right to do that. You could have reached out to me. You knew it was on the agenda. It's been no secret.
Yeah, you don't have to wait to meetings. You can reach out to people.
I'm just wondering why. It's just a public, right, just simply opening a public hearing and saying, we would like to hear.
Just a second, December. Would you please silence your phones?
I did.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to take more than 3 minutes. I really, and I understand that like state law requires some things and not others. I was just asking, just as if the board, like if I was in your shoes and looking at the rest of us, and I said, I wouldn't say, I don't want your opinion in this policy that we're setting forward that dictates how these meetings go. If I was on that side of the table, I would want everyone's input.
Okay.
So that's it, that's all, thank you.
Thank you, December. Bruce, did you have something?
Casey was first.
Casey was first? Okay.
So mine was only on the welfare too. So when somebody comes to our town, whether they're homeless or welfare or anything else, do we ask what town they're coming from? So the reason I ask that is
I don't know, I'm not the welfare director, so I
well,
don't know.
no, but I didn't know if you look into it with the welfare director. So there was new legislation that was proposed this year, and I don't know if it went forward or not. And what brought it up is because Littleton does offer a lot of social services in our community. But the theory behind it is you could have somebody living in Woodsville, and they're there for 35 years, and then all of a sudden they don't have the services they need. So the town of Woodsville ships them up to Littleton, and then we pick up their welfare for somebody that's been a resident for 40 years. So there's something at the state level that they're looking to try to figure it out, because I believe it's the town welfare person in Conway is actually billing out the prior town, and it's allowed by RSA to bill it out, so that we're not getting it, because we do have the social services, because we're the mecca of around the area, that if they all of a sudden pick up and they move here because they don't have transportation to get the services, that we're picking up another municipality's welfare. So that's why I just didn't know if it's asked, and the reason I asked is the first time I went to New York City, I rode around one of those double-decker buses, and the guy gave the tour, and he was talking about the cost of housing and their welfare, and he had given a story that said that the town of New York City shipped all of their welfare people to Bangor, Maine. Bangor, Maine turned around and they sued New York City and they won.
Good.
So if all of a sudden our fees and our rents are higher in our community, and people are saying, hey, go to Littleton, but they've been somewhere else, you'll get more assistance. I don't know what that is, but I know that there's some bill that's being brought forward.
One of the first steps that the welfare director is required to do is to try to validate residents. It is a hard first step.
Yes.
But if it's determined that you are not a resident, they're still obligated, if there's a need, an emergency situation, the welfare director is still obligated to provide assistance. But then there's coordination and billing and with the town that this person came from.
I just know our budget has gone up a lot. And inflation's gone up a lot, everything's gone up a lot. And I had just read that because I sit on a legislative committee down on another board down Concord, and that came across, and I found it interesting that it's being brought up that you may be able to build from the prior town that they're at, pending on the situation.
I'll have Troy bring that to Seal.
Yeah.
Bruce?
Mine's a little bit different. I wanted to just recognize the fact that in the industrial park, there has been as many as 3 of the buildings that have been shut down and there's nobody working in them. I think one of them is possibly changing hands. The second thing is, if you look at the whole town of Littleton and the amount of commercial properties that have gone and are vacancies and are closing down out of it, you should be abreast of it on how serious it is a problem, on the fact that all the way down through the meadow and everything else, there's not a lot of employment. There's a lot of vacancies, and that's less money and less help as far as that goes. The second thing is, the third thing, I guess I should say, is a pilot that you signed with the power company. On it, the pilot in turn is going to, next year, your pilot amount money goes from $450,000 down a couple $100,000, I think it is. The second thing is, it automatically next year goes down. The other part of it is, if you read into it, it says in here, if something occurs that is like under the term of God making it such as no water, they can come back and sue you. That's in that agreement. And it says right in here, there's a bunch of it, says flood or anything like this, but it says if it's a godly situation out of it, which is the case of we had no water, they can come back and file for a tax abatement.
Yeah, they would file
Not
for a
come
tax
January.
abatement.
Right.
Yeah, they could file for a tax abatement,
That's exactly
basically
right.
anytime. A lot
Well, not
of
necessarily,
big
because you
businesses
have a
do.
pilot, but consequently, that says it in here, it says
Right.
it's an act of God.
We got
No
you.
water.
Yep, no,
you can't
we're
make
aware.
electricity.
One
Yeah.
person speaking at a
Yeah.
time,
Yeah,
please.
we're aware
I just
of
think you
that.
should be aware of that.
Yeah, we are,
Yep,
yeah,
yeah.
thank you, but yeah.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, we,
Ryan?
Mine's real quick, and I don't know if this changed or not, but I'm going back years ago. When I ran for Parks Commissioner and when I was elected, I was given the conflict of interest
Good.
at that time when I signed up, as well as I had to fill it out when I was sworn in by Judy White at the time, who,
Good.
I think she did everybody. I don't know if that practice is still there, but that's how it used to work, and it worked
Yeah.
flawlessly, because everybody knows what's coming.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah,
And
we
even if
need
you're
to-
gonna run for office, you get to say, hey, this is all gonna get put in front of you, you better fill it out now, because
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good suggestion, thank you.
that is good. People have to come in to sign and to do like the oath when they get offices, so it maybe could be handed out the same time, just make sure everybody gets it. We'll figure something out.
Okay, anybody else? Public comment? Okay, I will entertain a motion to go into non-public
We're going to non-public.
for RSA, which one are we using
we've got
tonight?
personnel, we've got,
A3.
32B?
and then the lease or purchase of property.
I'll make that motion.
All right, I'll second.
Okay, which RSAs are they, Troy?
Are we doing-
I'm sorry.
Is it lease property? 91A3 2D.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then, I think it's the, 91A3 2C.
C and D?
Yeah.